Hey, well, welcome everybody. Hello, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cards from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. It's week number 2 already of the 2018 racing season. And since we missed the traditional opening day of racing, why not head right back to San Anita Racetrack in scenic Arcadia, California? It's the first Saturday race card of the year. The late pick four starts in race number 6. It ends in race number 9. There are 2 stakes races in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. Our first handicapper is currently having some technical difficulties. He's all the way over on Staten Island in New York. Maybe he's under some snow right now. But our second handicapper, our West Coast handicapper, he's from Temecula, California. No snow problems for Joe English. And Joe, I kid you not, I was unable to find a horse on opening day at Santa Anita named Christmas Inventory. But I did hit the exacta by combining our picks. That's Bowie's Hero and Croy in the Mathis Brothers Mile. So how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Rich. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody out there, and to you and your family. I'm doing well. Avoided the sickness that's been running through my family during the Christmas holiday season, and I'm ready to go for tonight.
Awesome. I'm hoping our second handicapper, he's out there. We've seen him pop in. We heard him briefly. So Ray Torado should be joining us shortly, but we didn't want to hold up any longer. So we're going to go ahead and get going here. I've got a couple of quick program notes for tonight. So we have not been on the air since, well, actually early December. And so I wanted everyone to know that our thoughts and our prayers are still with our friends at the San Luis Rey Training Center in Bonsall, California. They are recovering from the horrible effects of the lilac fire. In particular, I'd like to mention trainers Scott Hansen and Clifford Size, who were so generous with their time and their information for our show. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my friend Umberto. I hope everybody is well.
Agreed, Rich. It was real travesty, and there was some real heroic acts for the guys. Some of the groomsmen, the grooms, and everybody who was down there. Unfortunately, there were a lot of lost horses due to that fire, and it's a horrible circumstance, and there's really not much we can do about it other than pray and give thanks to those people who did everything they could to save horses and human lives. They're really heroic efforts. And I guess unfortunately the racing world, just like the world around us, moves on. So we just have to keep going.
All right. Thank you, sir. Well, and you know what? And speaking of keeping on and moving on and keeping going, we're gonna on this show. It's a sports show, after all. It's horse racing and handicapping, and I like to think that I fancy myself as an announcer. You know what? Is that Ray Torado? Did he just join us?
I got on.
Can you hear us? Right there, he is. All right. So before I move on to my next note here and like that, I want to say hello to my friend from the East Coast, and this is Ray Torado. He is all the way on the other side of the United States. He's in Staten Island, New York. Ray, I wanted you to know it's sunny and about 75 by me. How's the weather out by you, my friend?
15. Partly cloudy. Okay, so we do have the sun once in a while, but it's 15 degrees.
15.
15, yeah. It was 85 in Temecula today. Just not to rub it in, but
yeah, Rich
out here.
Yeah. I didn't want to rub it in.
What it is. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, not to go to that, not go into a set again. We are a sports show. And the three of us do get on this week to broadcast. And I would like to bid a fond farewell to one of the great ones. We lost Dick Enberg just this past week, actually. He was a legend in the Los Angeles sports market. We were proud to call him one of our own. He was the announcer for the California Angels, the Los Angeles Rams. And that was before he went off to broadcast football, basketball, and football for the national market. Lest we forget, it was Dick Enberg who broadcast the very first Breeders' Cup. He was an inspiration to Cal State Northridge alumni announcers for years. We might even have one of those on this show. So in honor of Dick, oh my, it's time for New Year's resolutions for the Three Broke Guys Handicapping. I got you guys this last year. So I asked you for these. And before I go into it, I will bring them up from last year. So I'll go ahead and let you know that I actually had a New Year's resolution last year. And that was for me, I wanted to try and get closer to 50-50 on my win bets. So I was primarily an exotics handicapper or an exotics player, I guess I should say, betting pick fours. And my goal for the year was to go ahead and start betting a lot more win bets. I probably can get the numbers for you by the end of the year and let that. I will tell you, I was successful on that resolution. I do bet a lot more win bets throughout the year, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came in closer to 50-50 as far as the amount of wager. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually wager more win bets because there's obviously a lot more win bets to make than our pick four bets. So our East Coast handicapper, Ray Torado, he had a couple of New Year's resolutions as well. Ray, you actually vowed to use fewer combinations on your vertical bets. I believe you were going to slow down on the Keno machine for the year. And one of your other resolutions was you wanted to go to some other racetracks outside of your area. And I know you were successful on that one because I got the photos to prove it. We were hanging out together and you spent the night at my house down here in Southern California. You came out for the Breeders' Cup and hit up Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup.
Yep. Come on, yep. That was fantastic.
All right. And Mr. English, just as a reminder for you, you had 3 for us last year. You also wanted to go outside of Southern California for a race. You vowed to use technology just a little bit more. I know you like the computer and you like all the formula things that are available for us. And last but not least, I think you gave us our motto for 2017. It got repeated time and time again on this show throughout the year by all 3 of the 3 broke guys. I think it's going to go on for all of us as far as our handicapping style, and that was to be more forgiving, to not go ahead and toss horses just because they'd had one bad performance. And sure enough, that came back to pay for us throughout the year. So those were our New Year's resolutions in 2017. And Joe, would you like to go first and give us a couple of New Year's resolutions for 2018?
Sure. Actually, Rich, I have 3. I have one for the group, but I'll share that off air. That's not really something that the group that anybody outside the group needs to hear. My first one was
He froze. All right, well, Joe, you're frozen. I don't know if you can still hear us, buddy, but you froze just as you were about to give us your 2018 New Year's resolution. Ray, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Whew. I thought that was really a bad sign for 2018. All right. Ray, you want to go ahead and step up and pinch in for Joe here? Go ahead and give me your 2018 New Year's resolutions. Again, this is as far as horse racing is concerned. As Joe said, I don't want to hear about.
Well, yes, I was a little less on the Keno machine. I tried to narrow it down more and try and like in my multi wagers, like bet the amount of the ticket will be less, so that if you win, it'll be a little greater ROI. It kind of worked out. This year, what I'm looking to do is if I see a good single, I'm going to take a chance and spread in other legs because I noticed that by going too deep, you're doubling the ticket, and you want to take a chance on that horse. Just let let it ride on that horse, and so if the horse wins, you have a bad chance of hitting the ticket on the other legs because you'll be a little more deeper. And it doesn't have to be odds on. I mean, I could talk 3, 4, 5 to 1. If I like a horse, I'm gonna try and single him, and just take my chances. Don't be afraid of losing. Don't add that. Don't add the other horse just because you're scared of losing. You know what I'm saying? So that's my motto. And I'm gonna try and bet fewer races, focusing on the big pools of the multi-race bets. Because sometimes you throw away your money on these early races, and you wind up with a little bankroll towards the end. So I'm gonna focus on that too, and also focus on something bet a little more to try and win some money, during that race. All right, we have Joe on. So Joe, give us your New Year's resolution.
Yeah, Joe, we lost you there as you were giving us your New Year's resolution. It seemed like a bad sign.
Yeah.
The bad omen.
Maybe yeah. I'm not sure where I left off, where I got cut off. Like I said, first one was take a stand, single more, use the Keno machine a little bit less. Let Ray have the use of that, and he can have it more often than me. Second was to play more handicapping contests to try my win my way to Vegas in either the NHC
I like that.
or to the daily racing form. I'm not sure what they call it, World Championship of Handicapping, I guess is what they call it. So that's number two. And number three was to emulate my friends and keep better records as opposed to just ripping things up and throwing things away when things happen. I'm actually going to keep my picks for the show, see where things went wrong, and try to do a little bit more of a review. So keep little better records, and this way, like we know, Rich has a tendency to do well in the bottom maiden claimers on dirt. To at least find myself what my strengths and weaknesses are as a handicapper, and see if there are things that I can do to improve on that. So those are the three for me, and like I said, I have one for the group that I'll save for when we're off the air.
And and I'll add one that's kind of a combination of the two that you guys brought up. Actually, the narrowing of the picks, which I heard, which Ray and Joe were taking a stand or single more. I think there's a combination of the two right there. Which is for me, I want to do that myself, and in combination with eliminating some of these favorites. I'm the chalkiest player of the three of us, and when I play by myself, when I play with us, as far as being a team player and things like that, it works out okay. I can go ahead and play some of the chalk, and sometimes it helps us as far as the team environment is concerned. But when I'm by myself, I want to find myself eliminating some of those favorites and becoming less of a chalk player. Wonderful. We've got those on record again, and hopefully we'll all be around for next year, and we can take a look at how we did. I knew you guys would know that I kept track of that, but yeah, that's a good thing about having us on record here on Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Mm-hmm. And we are actually proceeding into our third full season of this. And actually, it's the fourth, if you like, year that we're actually going to be doing a podcast together. So I can't think of anything that I've done for 4 seasons in a row. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy it. So
I think we all can say that. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep doing it now, would we? At least I hope not. Well, maybe we're a little, and I hate to spoil it, masochistic.
Oh, boy.
All right.
It was too easy.
All right. Last week was, well, actually, we really haven't been on the air in a while. We tried the late pick 4 at San Anita on opening day. You guys didn't see a show for that, but we did do that. We bet that one. We came up empty. So tonight is actually going to be our very first official pick 4 of the 2018 season for Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Time for a brief weather update from Arcadia, California. Ray, put your finger in your ears. Forecast for Saturday calls for sunshine and clouds, and some clouds. High near 75 degrees, winds light and variable, 0% chance of snow, 0% chance of rain. A total of 9 races. There's 3 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the late pick 4. It begins in race number 6, concludes in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
Let's get the season underway.
Here we go. Race number 6. Approximate post time is 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 3 p.m. for us out here on the West Coast. It's a mile and a 16th on the main track. Optional claimer for non-winners of 1. Purse is $56,000 plus $16,800 from the Cowbred Owners Fund because, of course, it pays to be Cowbred. For 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $10,000 other than maiden, claiming, or starter, or which have never won 2 races, or optional claiming price of $40,000. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 10. Sheer Flattery, trained by Jerry Hollendorfer, ridden by Mike Smith, is 3-1 on the Santa Anita morning line. Ray, I see Rajiv Marag riding. I see Irad Ortiz in here. I swear, if we let Tom Gherkin call the race, could you feel any more at home in the opening leg of the pick 4? Who do you like, my friend?
Absolutely. They're all out there. I don't blame them. It's well, you don't have to wear gloves. Yeah, if you've been to Aqueduct, I mean, this time of year, you'll know. Well, actually, I am going to go because I get my calendar. So sometime this weekend, I will head out there.
You better go tomorrow because they may not be racing. You better, the sooner you get there, the better, because if the cold weather continues, they may end up canceling racing. But my guess is they do the calendars anyway on another day. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Got it. This race I found to be you get these claimers here. They're dropping down. Different trainers doing different things. I settled in Avanti Bello, 10-1, but I think it's might get a little right here. This horse is dropping in class. Been racing with better, like Santa Anita, 4 wins, 4 seconds, and 15 starts. Keeps the Evan Roman, who's continues to do well, 18% this year. He had a great season. Still got the bug, and he's doing. Doug O'Neill continues to look to put these horses in a place where he can win with them. So he had been running well, decently against much better. I mean, you see curling rules here. You see collected, opportunity, Irish freedom. So you don't see none of that here. So this horse might just wake up with this class drop. The last few races was in the race and just faded a little bit. Back at Santa Anita. So I'll give this horse a chance. I could probably see him more like 6, 7, 8-1. But he's worth a shot. I do like the Bo Marchius, number 5. This horse winner of 4 in a row. Good early speed. Should be out there, running and could slip away around the far turn and could be tough to catch. Tyler Bates is pretty good with that. With the early speed types, he's 18%, and going on mile and 16th, Santina could favor a little bit of speed. I do like Greater Glory, number 3, for Greater Glory, 6-1. Trying the West Coast scene. David Jacobson, that's another New York trainer going out there. But he's done this before. He owns the horse, he trains the horse, so he put him on his private jet. So let's go. We're taking a little vacation. Been trying, to close on the turf and hasn't worked out. This horse is dropping from 9 wins of 2 back to the dirt, 4 9-day layoff, so he had a little breather. I'll give a shot with this horse. And then the favorite, number 10, Sheer Flattery. Most likely be on our ticket. Second is level. Mike Smith stays aboard for Hollendorf. I like that. And he likes Santina. He's won 4 for 4 in the money, 1 win. So Sheer Flattery. Those are my picks there. The 9, the 5, the 3, and the 10. Joe, who you like in this race? Anybody else?
Well, actually, I settled on the likely leader early. Santa Anita obviously is notorious for being a speed horse's paradise. And I really don't know that I need to add more on Beaumarchais. I have a feel. I just looking at the race, I think he goes all the way. I don't know that there's anybody who's going to contest the race with him. The biggest concern that I have, obviously, is the class level. The horse was claimed for 16, was protected last time, and won obviously very easily at Los Al. And I love that Brisnet has all the possible scenarios, like the trainer Reed Saldana as a plus ROI in all of those categories, including just if you bet this trainer's horses to win, you made a flat bet profit on the year. Obviously, this horse is able to keep the good horses going in his zone right now. Obviously, the switch from Evan Roman to Tyler Bays didn't really have much of a difference. The horse seems to have gotten a little bit better. And the funny part is, if you look to the right where the odds are on the screen, the horse hasn't been favored in any of those races. And the lowest price you would have got on the horse was $740. So I'm going to keep taking. I'm going to ride the train. I'm thinking this gelding's going to go all the way. I think he's going to lead wire to wire. I would have a couple of B picks on my ticket. The number 1 California Street. The other thing I like about this condition is I like it in non-winners of one lifetime. I like it when young horses moving into the condition when they're facing horses who are 6 and 7 years old, and they're still in the non-winners of one allowance condition, and they've never been able to get past that condition. It tells me that the horses aren't necessarily of all that high quality. Usually necessarily like horses facing winners for the first time. But I think this horse is going to, obviously drawing the rail, the horses should get a dream trip in behind Beaumarchais. And if for some reason Beaumarchais can't handle the class level, I think California Street's going to be the one to get the first run on the others. And then I also went back to an old horse that we've handicapped quite a few times, Dawnworth. It's really interesting. The horse is just obviously looking for a good class level to win at. Maybe Pete Miller can straighten this guy out. And this is really more an Irad Ortiz play.
Yeah.
Being that Irad Ortiz is on the horse. Obviously, the horse looks like he could also be up close early. If you see looking at the last two races, as Ray was talking about with other horses in the race, at the second call, third by a length and third by 2. So the horse is in position to win, just hasn't been able to punch it home. Maybe again, and nothing against Bejarano, because obviously Rafael Bejarano can get boot horses home. Ortiz can do something that any of the other SoCal jockeys haven't been able to do. But honestly, for me, I would think I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna ride the Beaumarchais train. And it looks like, again, based on the presence of Sheer Flattery and maybe even Dawnworth, he's probably not going to go favorite. So I would take if I can get 4-1 on Beaumarchais, I would take it. And I would probably single on my own ticket, but I would probably do a backup ticket with the other horses, the 1 and the 8 as well. It is a pretty competitive race. And there are a lot of ways that you can go. Obviously, Ray picked a couple different horses than I did, and I threw out the favorite only because I just don't think that the post position and the running style. I just think the horse is going to end up wide around the first turn. And a race like this, that may make the difference between winning and losing. So I went 5 on top with the 1 and the 8 as my B picks underneath in the opener of the pick 4. So I will hand it off to Rich. Rich, I see where your check mark is. Do you need to expand on it any further?
No, I was just going. I went to the back page just to kind of reinforce why I ended up that same way. So my check mark is on Beaumarchais, and that is the name of a Frenchman who was instrumental in the founding of the United States of America. He's actually one of the founders of American-style democracy. So let's see. This is 69% of these races go to early pace types. I know there's only been 13 races so far on the dirt. But again, Santa Anita being the speed favoring bias that it is, I thought that Beaumarchais was worth a shot here. So that was my top pick. Hollendorfer has had Sheer Flattery back to almost what he once was, but he's had the horse firing well again lately. So I did not heed my New Year's resolution for the year. I still got the favorite in there, but I'd like to point out this is kind of a little bit of a tepid favorite here at Santa Anita. 3-1 on the morning line is not anything to write home about. So I've got the 5 and the 10. If I was going to use a third pick, I'm not going to use a third pick here, but if I was going to use their pick, my third one actually was another speed type. I liked Christie's Co-Pilot as well from Mike Bukowski and Joe Talamo. But I just went 5-10. Joe, if I'm not mistaken, I think you singled. You've got the 1 and the 8 on your B picks underneath.
Yeah, I would have singled, yes.
And then we've got Ray, and Ray's got the 9 as his top pick, and he's got 5, 3, 10 also on his top line.
Right.
And let me get this all set for us. And I will go ahead and come on back, and we'll move along to our next race. And that's the first of our 2 stakes races on today's card. And it is race number 7. They are going 1.25 miles on the turf. It's the American Oaks. It's a grade 1. Purse is $300,000 for fillies, 3-year-olds only. Last time they can run like that. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 8. It is, let me see if I can get this right, Rimska, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Irad Ortiz. 5-2 on the Santa Anita morning line. Since its inception in 2002, it has striven to become a world-class race by bringing in some of the best fillies from all over the world. The American Oaks was first run as a grade 1 event in 2004. And I'd like to throw out a mention to one of my favorites. Little Megahertz was the first to win this race in 2002. I believe I may have been at that race. Interesting, in 2016, much ado was made of shortening this race to 1.125 miles to prevent the horses from having to cross over Santa Anita's dirt track off the downhill course. Joe, looks like that was just a 1-year experiment, huh?
You know what? It's funny. I'm not sure if my memory is failing me or not, but it might have had something to do with maybe it was weather related. I'm not 100% sure. But I know they start 1.1 miles turf races on the dirt. But again, I'm not in that race at Hollywood Park originally. If I remember right.
I
because
want to.
the race used to be held in July. If I think it was held
Yeah,
on July 4th
yeah.
specifically. So obviously Santa Anita wasn't back then.
No, no.
Was
I
in
want to say that the American Oaks was one of Hollywood Parks. Like that was kind of one of their signature
yeah,
races.
it was one.
As I said, they were the one that were trying to kind of make it into a big. It was
Yeah,
initially it was like a worldwide. It had some worldwide
actually,
appeal. That was
yeah, it was the birth child of somebody Ray might know well, and that's Martin Panza, who's now the racing secretary at the NYRA. It was his idea to invite horses from other countries, and basically, yes, as you said, Rich, it turned out to be, at least originally, it was thought to be um, an international and an international field. Obviously, we don't have that contingent here this time. Um, as far as who I settled on, my top choice is the 4, Daddy's Little Darling. And the reason I guess I'm going there is because she's a grade, she hasn't won a grade 1 yet, but she's placed in 3 different grade 1s, the Queen Elizabeth Cup, 2 starts back, and 2 races on the dirt, the Kentucky Oaks and the Ashland at Keeneland. But she's also one of the few in this race who's won at a mile and a quarter. Now, there are others in the race who have not even started at a mile and a quarter. Actually, she won further than a mile and a quarter at Kentucky Downs on September 10th, winning the Dueling Grounds Oaks at Kentucky Downs by 4 solid lengths as the even money favorite. Way back in September, way back 3 months. Uh, yeah. So obviously I know, and the funny part is I had a chance to watch the QE2 Cup, and she was actually getting to Loch Coronel late. So I'm still thinking and you see the mile and the 16th race, she missed by 3/4 of length. I'm thinking the longer she goes, the better. If the QE2 Cup was a mile and a quarter, she might have beat Loch Coronel that day. So I think again, I'm thinking the mile and the 16th. Last time I was too short. I think a mile and 16th, a mile and a quarter is what she wants to do. The longer, the better. She's not necessarily a win machine, but she's in good form. And she gets Mike Smith, who's 20. It's funny to see that he's 25% for the year, and most jocks would be like, "Wow, 25% of the year," but he still doesn't have a positive ROI because a lot of the times he's riding for Baffert, he's riding short price favorites. But still, obviously, you get Mike Smith 25% for the year, and again, I think she fits this race. I think she fits the distance, and I know she can perform at grade 1 level. So I'm taking a shot with her. My other top choice is the morning line favorite, Rimska, and it's not because of the class level. Obviously, won grade 3s and non-graded stakes. She did finish 5th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf last year behind the horse in this race, New Money Honey. But I watched the Winter Memories, and that pace was about as slow as you could get. They went that third quarter time was 1:15.99. They were all, I mean, it was basically almost 1:16. And obviously, because they ran that slow early, she came home in about 5 seconds in the last. It was like 5.7 seconds in the last 16th of a mile. So obviously they were moving. The only question about her, and I mean, I see the average winning distance of Desire is 9.2 furlongs. So again, the only real question about her is, will she handle a mile and a quarter? I don't doubt that she can. Obviously, Chad Brown is here, and I'm assuming the real reason Irad Ortiz is here is to try and annex the final grade 1 of the year. So I went too deep here with my A picks. The 4, Daddy's Little Darling, is my top choice, the non-favorite at 3-1, and I'm sure you'll probably get somewhere around 5-2. I would think both Rimska and Daddy's Little Darling will get bet, and Rimska would be my second choice. So 4-8, a little chalky here for me, but I'm hoping the second choice would take down the race ultimately. So 4-8 for me, right?
Um, yeah, I'm with you with the 2 horses. I also like I like New Money Honey also number 9. Been back after a huge Belmont Oaks win. But they go to Alabama and she ran to late. No excuse there. Just late, just riding off the ground. And then the next race, she had a rough trip from the outside post 10, so she did win the Breeders' Cup on this turf course, so she kind of likes it a little bit. So, I my top choice would be New Money Honey, Castellano, Chad Brown. I do like Rimska. 3-0 for her. She's the grade three. She's stepping up. We try not to split Chad Browns. We'll keep them. And the only thing that about Rimska is that she might have a little trouble finding a trip here. If she comes her way back, so if she can work out a trip, she'll be awfully tough. Try and stay not too wide. Try and stay on the inside if she can. And I'm sure Ortiz will figure out. And I do like Daddy's Little Darling. This horse could like this a lot. And it's probably been closing a show, just like you said, Joe. And this she's here for a first grade win, and she's been 8 out of 14 in the money, and she's gonna be tough. Mike Smith also, she's right to Abel Tasman, so I do like this horse too. Daddy's Little Darling. So I'll go three deep here, adding New Money Honey. So I'll go 9, 8, and 4. Rich, what do you think about the American Oaks?
Well,
Oh, there you go. We got the turf. We got Chad Brown. There you go. All we need the pitching wedge.
yeah. Let's face it, guys. If I fall in love with Chad Brown on turf, as far as the East Coast racetracks are concerned, and you know how much I love East Coast horses on turf when they come out here to the West Coast, then this was a no-brainer. Everybody should have known this one. I actually decided to go with the other Chad Brown, I guess, in this race, or the lower of the odds races. New Money Honey. Again, I guess kind of using our forgiveness angle, if you like, from earlier in the show when we were talking about uh, the um, the New Year's resolutions. So if you want to look back, this horse had won back-to-back. Again, Ray hit it already, right? The mile and a quarter of Belmont Oaks, which is what today's race is going to be at. A little bit of a different configuration, but that Belmont Oaks was a brutal race. It was 11 horses. So she won that one, came out of it, went to the Alabama, which is a very tough race on dirt. That's why I got the little red squiggly thing there, just to remind me that that was a dirt race. And then came back and ran into a tough crowd there at the QE Cup, which included a couple of horses from this race. So choosing to use the forgiveness angle, choosing Chad Brown as a magic turf master. I just went with the 9 as my top pick and backed it up with the 8 as my second pick. And if I have enough, then I will still use the 4 because she kind of meets the requisite requirement as well, being an East Coast turf horse. But if I only can go down to 2, I'm going to use the 2 Chad Browns. I'm not going to split Chad Browns and figure he's got this one covered at the 4 and the 8. I know Joe has got the 4 and the 8. Excuse me, I've got the 8 and the 9 with the 4 underneath. Joe's got the 4 and the 8. And I believe Ray's got the. Ray, did I get this correct? Is the 8 your top pick with the 9 and the 4 as well on the top line?
8-4.
8-4?
8-4, yeah.
Okay. All right. And since me and Chad are already back to you, I guess that's who will go ahead. And yes, folks, for those who are wondering, this is my little Chad Brown bobblehead doll. And, what would it be without having Chad Brown, as Ray mentioned, on turf? So it'll be me and Chad going ahead and bringing you the next race here. So we're going to go ahead and move along to race number 8. That's our second stakes race on the day, the third stakes race for the day. It is 6.5 furlongs on the main track. It is the Midnight Loot Stakes, Grade 3. Purse is $100,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite at 2-1 is in post number 5. Americanized, trained by Simon Callahan and ridden by Rafael Bejarano. All right, Midnight Loot was the first 2-time Breeders' Cup Sprint champion, taking the race in 2007 and 2008. He was named for famous University of Arizona basketball coach Lute Olson, who had the reputation for contacting prize basketball players at the first possible moment of the annual recruiting period, midnight. Ray, who do you like in the Midnight Loot?
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but Joe, is that tweet correct about Master Statistic? Or
Yeah.
I'm going with Americanized, so I'm not. Okay. Um, yeah, this horse could be a popular single here. The one of Damascus, very nice race for him. We were there. We saw that. That was the British Cup Friday. The cigar mile was just a little too long. He ran to sharp protector, and you know, it's just who's gonna lose to sharp protector? That horse was awesome that day, and there was like nobody beat him. And I think this is a distance between 6, 7 furlongs. He's gonna get a good trip. He's got Bergerano, and you know, we forgive the last race, like we say, for the mile. And it's just sprint. He's back to sprinting, and he's gonna be awfully tough here. I do have another horse. I'm kind of want to go with again. Give him another chance here. Calculator number 8. Been on this horse a few times this year. Um, you know, and I'm only going with him with a switch of Castellano. Maybe he'll wake him up somehow, get a good trip. He didn't have a good trip in the British Cup Sprint. He had a good run in the Pat O'Brien, and he's been working out well. He just made the lead and couldn't last. So he could be back in form. Had a brutal trip in the British Cup Sprint from post one, and just Giant V didn't get him out, and that was it. In that race, you have to get out and run. You have to run. So at 4-1, I give him a chance. And those would be my two horses, the 5 and the 8, and I go slim here. Joe, what do you think about the Midnight Loop?
Well, this is the old Santa Anita is really good for speed, and closers really, I don't want to say have no chance. They're at a really bad disadvantage. So I don't have a problem saying that Americanized would be my top pick. As Ray mentioned, showed speed in the Cigar Mile, and again, wasn't going to beat Chavez Teca that day. And he actually ended up finishing better than the other speed horse in the race. He comes back to his home track, beat recent winners, City of Light opening day winner. Winners won 3 starts back, and then again won on Breeders' Cup in the Damascus Stakes, which was the opener on Friday. So obviously he's the horse to beat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going merry-go-round here. The horse who I think is going to be sitting second is the 7 Tough Sunday. And I'm going to go back to what I did last year or 2 years ago. Tough Sunday. I think that race on the turf, and again, I'm not sure what the horse's turf breeding is. But obviously the horse ran 5 furlongs on the turf and actually won on a turf race on a non-winners of two allowance that actually filled. Went off at 6-1 because it was a turf race, and I'm assuming not many people expected the horse to do much, but the horse actually did. But it was something I did a couple of years ago. Again, I think it was a couple of years ago when Constellation ran in the non-winners of one at Turf Paradise, and won the race for fun. Really wasn't extended, but basically just got a tightener in, got a confidence builder in, and she ended up winning the La Brea right after that, and her next start at 11-1. Tough Sunday to me looks like a horse who's going to be sitting right outside Americanized, and to be honest, I can really see them going 1 and 2 around the track, and not many people making up any ground late. So I really I decided to just go with the speed angle, take the 5, not to say that it's a free square, but if for whatever reason if Americanized doesn't run his race, take the other speed horse, and that's the 7 Tough Sunday. So 5-7 for me in the Midnight Loot. We'll see. If a closer wins, I'm going to get beat anyway. So 5-7 for me. Rich?
Yeah, I'm with the scratch of Masochistic at this point in time. I'm kind of down to a single. At this point in time, I don't have another backup pick. I was on the two top picks initially, so I had the 4 and the 5. As Ray alluded to, Joe notified us via tweet, and for those of you who follow us on Twitter, it's at 3 Broke Guys. But Joe let us know on Twitter that Masochistic is out of this race. So right now, the only pick that I've got, I'll take another look at my form overnight and see if I've got someone else to add onto my ticket, is Americanized. Again, speed bearing racetrack, 7 Callahan, Rafael Bejarano, nice combination. Obviously a small sample size, but you see that they hit 50% together. Callahan's got a good barn going, and having a partnership with Colleen Shaw, there are worse things in the world than that. And he went over, as Joe mentioned earlier, and he was in the cigar mile, and Ray brought up Sharp Azteca. Nobody was going to beat him that day. He's one of the best racehorses in the country. And so I'm just going to single at this point in time. I'm just going to go with the 5. I do like the 8 as well. You saw me highlighting it here. That's actually one of the rescue ponies. That's one of the San Luis Rey survivors. You see down here, December 2nd. He was warming up at San Luis Rey. The next week after that was when the Lilac Fire broke out. So Calculator's got a special place in my heart. I've actually seen him work out a few times, and he's been on this show a few times as well. So, but I don't have him on my ticket at this point in time. I've just got the 5. I believe, Joe, you've got. Is it just the 5, or is it the 5 and the 7?
5 and the 7.
5 and the 7, and Ray's got 5 and the 8. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and come on back. All right. And we have one final race here coming up. This is the finale. It's race number 9. It's going 1 mile on the turf. $25,000 claiming race, and the purse is $30,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 12. It's Louis Vale, trained by David Jacobson and ridden by Evan Ramon. It's a tepid 7-2 favorite on your Santa Anita morning line. All right, Ray. All nice and equitable, as you each got one stakes race and one non-stakes race. Who do you like in the finale?
Yeah, this is one of those races where you just have to. We handicapping here. You get the claimers. They're down to 25,000. But it's a pretty contentious race. Like I like to say, pretty wide open. I do like number 3. Comes a Dream. This horse drops to a claimer again. Picks up Van Dyke, which I like on the turf. He's 12%. Michael B. Looking for a spot from the win. They were protected last races. He won one of them, the Dumar, on the turf. So then they put him back in the dirt, and he ran pretty well in the dirt. So he looks like he's in form. Mike Smith had him. And I'll give him a shot 6-1. The pace. Could we sit second, third, fourth, and get a good trip from post 3. So I'll take a shot with him. I do like horse on the outside. 11 Urban Bourbon. This horse is 15-1, but I think he's gonna get some play. Switches to the Samo, coming from Golden Gate, one. But in the claiming ranks over there, the 20,000, he ran pretty well. He won by open lengths, and 25 is a little step up here, and he with the Samo on the turf, he's a good 19%, and I think he's gonna rebound. And it's like you say, the new face, So he's here. William Murray chips in. He's 1 for 1 on this meet. So at 15-1, I will give him a shot, definitely. I do like the horse in the rail. Number 1, South American Inn, actually.
Oh,
With
you're
the
right.
rail draw, I think,
South American.
yeah, American, yeah.
Yeah.
With the rail draw, I think I is gonna
Oh, yeah.
show a little more. And he has a big drop coming from 80,000 9 ones of 1 to 25,000. But he's actually one of 5 for Santia, so he did win. And John Saddle, just looking to get a little confidence in him. And he's been way back his last 2 races, but I think Ortiz gonna put him up there, second, third. He's gonna be part of the pace, and he should run well. His figures need to improve a little bit more, but I'll give him a shot too. And right patch number 4. This is the speed. So, oh yes, he's tough for these claiming ranks. I notice in these lower claimers at the end of the day, Sal, oh yes, he doesn't get many mounts, but he wins 10% of races. And on the turf, he's 13% with the EP types. So this horse is gonna be out there, and he might be tough to catch. Right patch. Uh, get these jockeys. They're actually very underrated. And these races, it can be pretty tough. everybody just takes off. They go home and they want to win. They want to win. So Rye Patches for me will be on my ticket too. So I like the 3, the 11, the 1, the 4. So I go 4 deep here. Joe, what do you like this race?
Well, at least as of right now, printed the program this afternoon. At least as of right now, there are no scratches. And the 13 and 14, I'm assuming they can only run 12. So I make sure. I mean, whatever your choices are, race, make sure you keep an eye on the late scratches to see who actually makes it in and doesn't make it in this race. I actually think there is quite a bit of speed in this race. So I'm going for somebody who's coming from the back. I know this guy didn't have a great deal of success the last time he was out here, but David Jacobson has a string out here. Obviously, he's using the ship and stay to set up his stable out in Southern California. He's using that program to the best that he can. And the horse I like is the 7, Orino. Horse has been running for 25,000. And again, the barn didn't fare well the last time he tried this. But this 7-year-old gelding, if you look, he's kind of an iron horse. I don't know how many horses you can say have run 6 times since Saratoga ended. Look at September 28th, October 8th, October 14th, October 28th, November 10th, December 1st. He's actually getting a break. This is about as close to a layoff as he's had. He hasn't run in 29 days. Oh my God. It's like this. What I'm not sure what this horse is doing. The figure in that race obviously looks great. Joe Rosario was up there. I don't have a problem with Stuart Elliott. I think actually if I saw in an early race in the season, Elliott's riding for Jacobson in that spot too. So I kind of wonder if maybe he doesn't maybe he's getting first call on Jacobson's mounts. The case, again, if you like Louis Vale, you got Evan Roman, so that's not really a complaint. My problem with Louis Vale is I just think that there's a lot of speed to his inside, and he may get stuck wide on that first turn. If he's good enough, he's going to win out anyway, obviously. But like I said, I just think there's a lot more speed in the race. So I'm going with the shipper from the East Coast. Like Rich always likes to say, a new face from a different place. And again, he's in good form. He hasn't won lately, obviously, which is a detriment. But I'll take 8-1, and if he drips up from there, I would even take more than 8-1. Obviously, if I could take 8-1, I'd take 10. So he drew well. So I'm going to take a chance that Stuart Elliott can work out a trip on this horse. He's at least worked twice at Santa Anita, so he's been out here at least for a little bit. He's not just coming in and off the plane and running tomorrow for the first time. The other horse I liked is the horse that Ray mentioned, the 3 Comes the Dream. But what Ray didn't mention is, and I don't mean to correct you, Ray, but the horse hasn't run since December of 2016. So I can't really say if he's in good form. He was in good form when he ran, which makes the layoff a little bit more suspicious for me. But the horse is running for a $25,000 claiming level. That he would get him ready, and obviously the horse has won 6 times. He's never. I don't know that he's really won. He's been competitive at 40,000 and at 25,000. I think what he's going to be. I think he's going to be the one who's sitting right behind the pace. I think he'll sit right behind Rye Patch, and hopefully find room, and maybe even get first run. But I still think I like the closers better. And again, I went with Orino as my top choice. So my 2 A picks in this race were 7 and 3. On my own personal ticket, I would probably add at least 3 more horses. But I said earlier that I would probably not use the Keno machine as much. So I would just go 2 deep in here with my A picks, the 7 Orino for Stuart Elliott and David Jacobson, and the 3 Comes the Dream for Mike Pipey and Graydon Van Dyke in the finale on Saturday. So, Rich, take it away.
Yeah, Joe, I went the same way you did there. I chose, as a matter of fact, kind of putting down my little scratch mark there. I chose not to split Jacobson's. So as long as there's East Coast turf horses in these West Coast races, you're going to see me kind of siding towards it. I mean, after all, what good does it have? I think, what good does it to have an angle if you don't play it? So I did end up with my check mark on Louis Vale, but I was glad that you mentioned the horses that are on the alternate entry because I do have one, as you see here, on Bonds Noeste. Two reasons. One, the horse is scary good on turf. The horse is a very good turf horse. Out of the Peter Miller barn, he's got Kent DeSormo listed, at least at this point in time. And then the other point is that, at least for a little while, all these horses are going to have a double spot in my heart. I always love the San Luis Rey horses in the first place. But now that they're all survivors that are coming back from that terrible fire in the beginning of December, I'm really cheering for every single one of them. So watch out for Bonza Oeste. He is on AE at this point in time. We'll keep you up to date if he sneaks in. My top pick was the Louisville horse. I went with Evan Ramon, David Jacobson. I assumed that Evan might have had the choice as to which one he wanted, but there was no way I was leaving out the other David Jacobson. So I chose not to split Jacobsons. I'm using the 12 and the 7 in this particular case. They're both East Coast horses, East Coast turf horses shipping out here west. So I've got 12-7. And if I'm going to go a little bit deeper, and this race seemed like it was really tough, I did not like the 4 specifically because I saw Arias being on the horse, actually, even though I like right past the horse. I added the 1, South American, with John Sadler and Irad Ortiz. Specifically, I think maybe because of Irad Ortiz, even more than John Sadler. But I went 12-7 on my top line there. Joe, I believe, went 7-3,
Yes.
and Ray went 3-11-1-4. And I will go ahead and come on back if I got that correct. Ta-da! All right, we are ready to move on to the next portion of our show. We'll go ahead and put together our pick 4 ticket real quick here. I know we're a little bit over on our time for this evening, but we did get a late start, so thank you for kind of hanging in there with us, folks. And let's see.
Watching Doombin on TVG right about now.
Doombin?
Doombin.
All right.
I think that's how I would pronounce it. Whoa.
Everybody okay? Yeah, I can't see.
I'm here.
There.
No, we hear you.
Oh, good. They dropped it.
I know. Oops. Who dropped something, but it's all good.
As long as you guys are both still there, we're good.
Yep, still here.
All right. And for those of you who are watching along on the screen, these are our top picks in each of these races. So I've been kind of trying to take my notes as we've been going along here. And I will go ahead and fill in Joe, Ray, and my own picks. No, I messed up one.
What was that? Alrighty. I thought about going to the track tomorrow, but then I thought to myself, I'll take my son to the auto show in San Diego instead.
Oh, I saw that was coming up, and I thought about that as well.
I was like, yeah, I'll take my son to the auto show. He always likes to see the new cars. And I always like to take pictures of the new cars and see all the stuff that the Lincolns and all the things I can't afford.
Yeah, no, I used to love it. I used to love the LA one is probably like 3 times the size of the San Diego one, but I mean, they're great. I love auto shows.
I was in.
Yeah.
Over here.
I'm sorry. What? You cut out, Ray. You completely cut out there.
Oh, I was. Auto show.
You cut out again. Obviously, that's not meant for air.
April.
April. No. Hopefully in April I'll be in Cancun or Cozumel or actually that's not where I want to be. Puerto Vallarta or Cabo.
I'm using an old iPad. He's looking at the computer to connect to it. So. At least I'm on, right?
All right, guys, take a quick look at your picks there. Just to make sure I got a raise.
Yep,
Ooh.
mine are correct.
Joe,
there aren't many of them.
Joe's in the black. Yeah, Ray's in the red, and Rich is in the blue. Am I blue?
No, I thought in the leg 2 I was 984.
984. Okay, I thought so. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody look good?
See, senor.
I was 5, but I was still getting it.
First leg.
Tough call there.
I see the 500 race ticket in the first leg. And all right, Ray, your top pick here is the 9, right? My top pick was the 5, and I also see the 10 on both mine and Ray's pick. Okay.
Man, I jiffy about him.
What was that?
No, I was if in a 10, but we both have them. So.
We both had that pick. All right, second leg. And let's see, I see the 9 on Ray's top line. I see it on my top line. I see the 8.
Yep.
It's on me, Ray,
we're gonna have them all.
and I see the 4. Yeah, the 4. All righty. And in leg number 3, seeing a lot of consensus there around the 5, 7, and the 8. And finale, I see the 3. I see 7. Those are only 2 we have a consensus on. Oh wait, I've got the 12 in there. Especially since we've got 3 at every race so far. So let's see. 9, 27. We got the 40 something. Well, we're only at the $40 range, right?
No, 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 is, I guess, 81, so $40.50.
40-50, yeah.
If we go that route.
Yeah.
But I want to make a suggestion.
Okay.
Just to put it out there for vote. Both Ray and I talked about singling more and taking a stand more. I kind of almost wonder I'd rather go deeper in leg 4, considering how contentious it is, and single Americanize in leg 3. Again, just throwing it out there for a vote. We can go. Like I said, this is fine, and we can go with that. I don't have a problem either way, but I also want to consider singling the 5 in leg 3.
Like that.
And then we can put in the 11, the 1, and the 4. We go 6 deep, and that ticket would be 27, I think, right? 3 by 3 by 6 is 54 with the single.
Yeah.
Or the other alternative is we could do both.
Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6. 2, 3, 10,
Right.
3, 6.
Or and we can even if we wanted to add the 3 in leg 1. So we would have all our picks in leg 1, all our picks in leg 2, all our picks in leg 4, and single in leg 3. That would be 4 by 3 by 6, which would be a $36 ticket.
Or as you were saying, we could actually still, if you wanted, you could actually still add the 7 and the 8 here, and it would be like an $80 ticket, right? 81.
We could do that, but like I said, with the thought of trying to take a stand and singling more.
No, I agree.
I'm thinking
if you notice, the blue ones got the single on here anyway.
And well, and the thing is, this would be 27, but if we want to add raise 3 in leg 1, that would only make it 36. So it's not that much of a. I mean, it's only $9 more. So this would be 4 by 3, 12 by 6, 72, cut in half, 36. Because this way we would have all the coverage in leg 1, and we single Americanize.
Leg 4.
3.
But yeah.
Now,
leg 4. So basically, we have all our picks in legs 1, 2, and 4, and we single Americanize.
Okay. I'm good.
I'm good.
Like I said, I'm thinking just it
Yeah.
just be better. I mean, because we were talking about not turning over a new leaf, but singling, and going this way again. We could and here's the other thing: there may be scratches that work that change leg 4. Let's just hope Americanized doesn't scratch, because then we'll then we'll have to reassess everything. But
All right. So we're at
I like this, so we can do that.
So we're at 3, 5,
3,
9, 10 with 4, 8, 9
mm-hmm.
with 5 with 1, 3, 4, 7, 11, 12, and it's $36.
Yep. And well, like I said, leg 4 is likely to have at least 2 scratches, so we'll monitor that tomorrow.
All right. Let's see. And I will come back and we will wrap this up for the evening. Okay. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we're going to be back next week because, well, that's what the Three Broke Guys do. We will get together to take a look at another exciting card. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, it is always.
Good to be back.
Absolutely. Yep. For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. I'd like to wish everybody a very, very happy New Year, especially to my two friends, Joe English and Ray Torado.
Happy, healthy New Year.
Safe New Year's Eve if your plans take you elsewhere.
Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.